Hi, I'm Torstein from Cinema Terror, and not only did I just recently review the new movie It and the new Amityville movie, I'm also doing another new movie, this time the American version of the popular Japanese manga Death Note. Death Note tells a story of a young guy named Light Turner, who receives a mystical book called Death Note. Later on he gets a visit from a strange, creepy death god named Ryuk, who explains to Light that he now possesses the power to kill any human being he wants by simply writing their name in the book.
Shall we begin?
Light starts to use the book, both to impress his love interest Mia and to bring justice to the world by setting up the murders as if they were done by a godlike creature named Kira. But his youthful arrogance might just get the best of him after a global manhunt to find out who is behind this Kira god starts, spearheaded by the super detective simply responding to the name L. So, as mentioned, Death Note is a popular Japanese anime series. I have never seen that one or the Japanese movies, so my knowledge of the franchise before seeing this movie was basically non-existent. And after seeing the film, I do believe that it will make a huge difference if you have previous experience with Death Note or not in how enjoyable this experience will be for you. Some of that has to do with the fact that the biggest entertainment factor of this movie was the cool concept of the Death Note. That aspect alone will not win over fans of the franchise, since they are of course already familiar with it and just want to see it be done with respect now that they are bringing it over to the American market. Well, I'm sure that there will be plenty of fans that will hate everyone involved with this version of Death Note, but I have to say that I think they did an okay job. Some parts they succeeded with, but sadly there are other big parts that did not work. The concept of Death Note is cool and makes me want to check out the Japanese versions of it. It tackles the idea of what would happen if an average guy gets more power than what any person should have, done in a fun and interesting way. I also love the Ryuk character, here done with a voiceover from the always awesome Willem Dafoe. Ryuk is a demon god creature and perhaps the best part of the film. I wish I had gotten more to do in the film though, as he is sadly and strangely underused. His way of getting shit done reminded me of the Trickster from Brain Scan, in the way that he's an awesome character lurking and influencing from the background.
Hey, kid. It's pronounced Ryuk.
Most of the running time is spent with the main character Light Turner. I don't know if Light is even a normal name to use in the States, but it sounds so silly whenever someone else was calling him by his name in this one. Not only doesn't his name work for me, but the character as a whole did not work either. He is supposed to be, from what I understood as the setup of the film goes by with lightning speed, a high school student. Yet he looks and acts more like someone in his mid-20s. Not that this film is the first I've done that, I have seen my share of slasher films where the characters are supposed to be young but are played by older actors, by all means. They also felt the need, of course, to add a love story to the film. They could have cut that part right out of the film and rather just focus more on exploring the premise. By adding such an uninspiring teenage love story, the film becomes a bit of a cliché, and it is a shame that they decided to go that way, as they had a much more interesting thing going on with the chase between Light and the mysterious and interesting character of L, played pretty well by Lakeith Stanfield. Sorry if I butchered the name here.
But the form it takes is of their own making, a consequence of their actions, not mine. You're the one who flew into the sun. I'm just here to make sure you actually burn.
Well, if that's how it has to be.
It is, like, you know that as well as I do. There are no draws in this game.
One of the biggest reasons why I was curious about this film was that the director behind it was Adam Wingard. He started out as an indie horror filmmaker and has been working himself up in the Hollywood system, with recently getting a chance to do the new Blair Witch movie and the upcoming big monster battle of Godzilla vs. Kong. He's a competent director, so I'm not sure if all of the choices I'm complaining about comes from him or the studio. One of the choices I haven't complained about yet is the addition of 80s music. I'm not a fan of the current trend of nostalgia jerking, and in this one the 80s stuff is very out of place.
Take my breath away. Why should I keep waiting, still anticipating?
On the positive side, I would like to give him props for the visual look of the film, as it certainly looks like all of the budget was thrown on the screen. Death Note is a very uneven, but ultimately an interesting experience. I wouldn't be surprised if the Japanese versions are better, as the concept is the best part of the film, while the execution isn't top notch. If you are able to concentrate more on the awesome Ryuk creature and ignore the lower points like the teenage romance, then this film is absolutely worth watching. Death Note gets a 3 out of 5. So what did you guys think of Death Note? And how familiar were you with Death Note before watching this new American version? Let me know about it in the comment section below, like, subscribe and all of that stuff, and thank you very much for watching.